We act on feelings, not logic. These decisions don't just reflect our spending habits, they reveal something more profound about our fears, desires, and the invisible forces that govern our choices. As you watch this, think about the last time you made a financial decision that didn't align with your long-term goals. What fear, what unspoken pressure drove that decision? Because at the heart of it, it's not about the money. It's about something deeper. There's a hidden force behind every financial decision we make. Fear. Fear of not having enough. Fear of missing out. Fear of failure. These fears manifest in our spending habits in ways that are often overlooked. When you spend impulsively, it's not just about the desire for something new or exciting. It's a reaction to something deeper. You might be trying to fill a void, calm an internal anxiety, or gain temporary relief from feelings of inadequacy. That latest purchase? It's a distraction, a momentary escape from a fear you might not even be aware of. We fear what we don't have, and that fear drives us to act in ways that go against our best interests. It's not about the item, the investment, or the financial goal. It's about the fear of not having control over our own future, of not being enough in the eyes of others, or of facing the inevitable unknown. It's not weakness. It's human. And understanding this fear is the first step in gaining control over your financial decisions. It's easy to think that our financial decisions are driven by logic and careful planning. But in reality, they often stem from a deep desire for control. We want to feel secure, to know that we are in charge of our future, but more often than not, that need for control leads us to make irrational choices. Take, for instance, the person who constantly checks their stock portfolio, adjusting and readjusting their positions, convinced that small tweaks will lead to big gains. Or the one who holds on to cash, afraid to invest because of the uncertainty. Even though keeping the money stagnant isn't truly protecting them from risk, it's just avoiding it. This need for control often creates the illusion of safety, but it's just a mask for the fear of being vulnerable. We make decisions that are within our grasp, even if they don't serve us in the long term. It's the belief that if we can control our money, we can control everything else. But here's the truth. The more we try to control, the less we actually manage. Control isn't always about adjusting every detail. It's about accepting uncertainty and making decisions that align with our values, not our fears. Our financial decisions are not only about money, they're often about status. We buy things not just because we want them, but because we want to be seen with them. We invest in the latest trends or flaunt wealth to signal success. But what does it really mean when our spending is motivated by the need for external validation? At the core, these decisions stem from an internal conflict, the desire to be seen as successful, secure, or admired. We seek approval, not just from others, but from ourselves. The problem arises when these decisions are driven by external pressures rather than our true needs or values. We often tell ourselves that buying that expensive item will make us happy or fulfilled, but it's only a temporary fix. The real void, the desire for recognition, admiration, or validation remains. And no amount of money spent will fill it, because the root cause is emotional, not material. The key insight here is this: external validation doesn't bring internal peace. I deserve this, we tell ourselves. The momentary satisfaction of getting what we want now often overrides the rational thought of future security. But why do we so consistently choose the short-term pleasure, despite knowing the long-term consequences? The truth lies in our brain's wiring. Instant gratification is more rewarding neurologically. The pleasure centers of our brain light up when we get something immediately, while saving or investing doesn't trigger the same instant reward. The delay of gratification takes effort, awareness, and emotional control, but it's often drowned out by the louder, immediate call of our desires. This tension between immediate rewards and long-term benefits is a constant battle, one that we all face. Recognizing the underlying forces at play in these decisions is the first step in gaining control over them. FOMO, fear of missing out, is a powerful force. It drives us to act quickly, often without fully considering the long-term consequences. Whether it's jumping on the latest investment trend, buying a must-have product, or participating in a social activity we can't afford, FOMO pushes us to make financial decisions based on anxiety rather than reason. This fear is rooted in social comparison. We look at others and worry that we're falling behind, that we're missing out on opportunities that could lead to success, wealth, or belonging. But this desire to keep up often leads to decisions that don't align with our true values or financial needs. Instead of making decisions based on personal goals, we're reacting to the fear of being left out. What's truly behind FOMO isn't the fear of losing out on the latest trend. It's the fear of not measuring up, of being seen as inadequate. The constant pressure to keep up with others can distort our financial decision-making, leading to choices that are more about fitting in than about long-term security. It's important to question, are you making decisions based on what others are doing, or based on what truly serves your life? The path to financial clarity begins by acknowledging how this external pressure influences your choices. Our relationship with money isn't something we just develop as adults. It's shaped from childhood, whether through direct lessons or the environment we grew up in. The way our parents handled finances, the scarcity or abundance we experienced, and the values around money we were exposed to, all play a significant role in how we make financial decisions today. For some, money was always scarce, and that scarcity mindset carried into adulthood, where every purchase feels like a loss to be avoided. For others, perhaps money was plentiful, leading to a more carefree attitude toward spending or a sense of entitlement. But these early conditioning experiences are not just about the habits we learned. They are tied to emotional reactions, fear of not having enough, anxiety about security, or even guilt over wealth. These emotional connections are deeply embedded and often influence our decisions without us realizing it. By understanding how our childhood experiences shaped our financial behaviors, we begin to untangle the subconscious motivations driving our choices. Are you spending out of fear, or because you learned to associate money with safety or worth? These early experiences shape our financial identity, and until we recognize them, we'll continue to repeat the same patterns. We all strive for financial success, but for some, this pursuit takes a different form: perfectionism. The desire to manage every penny, to get every financial move just right, becomes more than just a goal. It turns into a constant source of stress and frustration. This drive for perfection isn't about genuine financial growth. It's about avoiding the uncomfortable feeling of failure. Every decision, every investment, every savings goal is measured against an unrealistic standard. Nothing less than perfect will do. But the truth is, perfectionism isn't about mastering finances. It's about controlling the anxiety that arises from the fear of inadequacy. Perfectionism in finance can lead to paralysis. We delay decisions, avoid risks, and miss opportunities, all in the name of making sure everything aligns perfectly. The need to be flawless prevents us from acting with clarity, focusing instead on avoiding mistakes rather than embracing growth and learning. Understanding this drive for financial perfectionism is key. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. And to move forward, we must let go of the need to be flawless and embrace the messiness of financial life. Only then can we take real control of our financial decisions. We've all done it, justifying a bad financial decision. It might be buying something we didn't need, investing in something that felt right at the time, or continuing down a path that's no longer serving us. But the most fascinating part isn't the decision itself. It's how we justify it to ourselves afterward. This process is called cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort we experience when our actions contradict our beliefs or values. To resolve this discomfort, we change our thoughts to align with our behavior. We rationalize. We tell ourselves that it wasn't so bad, that it was a necessary purchase, or that we'll make up for it later. In doing so, we preserve our self-image and avoid the uncomfortable truth that our decisions were flawed. But this rationalization doesn't help us grow. It merely keeps us stuck in the same patterns. Every time we rationalize a poor choice, we strengthen the mental framework that justifies future mistakes. It becomes a cycle, one that's difficult to break without consciously recognizing the disconnect between our actions and our values. The key to breaking this cycle is confronting the discomfort head-on. acknowledging when a decision doesn't align with our long-term goals, and facing the truth about our choices without seeking immediate relief through rationalization. The way we perceive money often boils down to one simple concept: scarcity versus abundance. It's a mental framework that shapes how we approach our finances, how we save, spend, and invest. A scarcity mindset is rooted in fear, in the belief that there will never be enough. An abundance mindset, on the other hand, is grounded in the belief that there's always more to be earned, that opportunities are abundant, and that money flows freely when you know how to manage it. When we operate from a scarcity mindset, every financial decision is fraught with anxiety. We hold on to money tightly, afraid to let go, even if it means missing out on opportunities for growth. We see every expenditure as a potential loss, something to be avoided at all costs. It's a cycle that perpetuates itself, keeping us stuck in fear and limiting our potential. On the flip side, an abundance mindset encourages growth, flexibility, and optimism. It allows us to take risks, to invest in ourselves, and to see the potential in every financial opportunity. But the shift from scarcity to abundance is not easy. It requires letting go of the fear of loss and embracing the idea that financial freedom isn't about hoarding, it's about wisely investing in growth. Understanding which mindset is driving your financial decisions is key. Are you making choices from a place of fear, or are you open to the possibility of abundance? The path to financial clarity begins with recognizing this internal dynamic and choosing to break free from the limitations of scarcity. It's a strange truth. Sometimes we don't just fear failure, we fear success. The idea of truly succeeding in our financial lives can trigger feelings of discomfort, unease, and even guilt. Deep down, we might feel that we don't deserve success, or that if we achieve it, we'll be forced to confront aspects of ourselves we're not ready to face. So we self-sabotage. Financial self-sabotage comes in many forms. It might look like procrastinating on important financial decisions, avoiding investments that could grow our wealth, or even making impulsive purchases that set us back. We create distractions to avoid confronting the discomfort of what it means to actually succeed, because with success comes responsibility, change, and the need to operate at a higher level. This fear of success isn't about laziness or a lack of ambition. It's about the internal conflict between wanting more and fearing the potential consequences of having more. Will success change who I am? Will it make me too different from the person I've been? These questions linger, creating a resistance to taking the necessary steps toward financial success. Understanding this fear is the first step in breaking free from it. It's not about avoiding success, but about accepting that growth and wealth are not threats. They're opportunities for transformation. Once we recognize this internal conflict, we can move past the sabotage and begin to make empowered financial choices. At this point, you might be asking yourself, how do I break free from these hidden psychological drivers? How do I gain control over my financial decisions instead of being ruled by fear, insecurity, or the need for validation? The first step is recognizing these forces within you. The more you become aware of the internal conflicts, fears, and patterns that govern your financial choices, the more you can consciously decide how to act. Financial clarity doesn't come from external factors, like having more money or getting the perfect financial strategy. It comes from within. It's about understanding your emotions, your desires, and your fears, and aligning your decisions with your true values, not your fears. This doesn't mean that fear will completely disappear. Fear is a natural part of the human experience. But when you gain clarity about what truly drives your decisions, you no longer let fear dictate your actions. You become the one making decisions, not the one reacting to them. Breaking free from these financial fears takes time. It requires confronting discomfort and allowing yourself to make mistakes without spiraling into self-criticism. It requires shifting your mindset from one of scarcity and anxiety to one of growth and possibility. In the end, true financial freedom isn't about wealth. It's about mastering the internal dynamics that have shaped your financial life. Only then can you move toward a future where your decisions are aligned with your true goals and values, not the fears that have held you back. In the end, financial freedom is not about having unlimited wealth. It's not about the accumulation of money, assets, or status. It's about the internal mastery of your thoughts, fears, and behaviors. True financial success comes when you understand the psychological forces driving your decisions and take control of them. Every financial choice you make, whether it's a purchase, an investment, or a savings decision, is a reflection of your internal state. The fear of inadequacy, the need for validation, the desire for control, all of these shape the choices you make. But none of them have to control you. This is the true essence of financial freedom. Not being controlled by your fears or impulses, but mastering your inner world so that your financial decisions reflect the person you truly want to be, not the person your fears tell you to be.